Sup Internet, I'm CJ. It's still hot as balls in my room today, so today's blog is actually directly related to a blog done by Matthew Santoro called The 10 Most Common Dreams and Their Meanings. And if I remembered, then the link is in the description of the blog, and if I didn't, well, I guess you could just search for the title, or Matthew Santoro. There were a couple of the dreams that he mentioned that were close, but not quite the same as dreams that I've had. Specifically number 8, which is trapped or can't move. Number 6, which is failing a test. Number 5, which is feeling sick or dying. Number 3, which is teeth falling out. I've also had dreams about the second most common dream, which is being naked, but it didn't have anything to do with shame, if you know what I mean. So first, number 8, the dream where you're trapped in a box or can't move. A recurring nightmare in my youth that occasionally resurfaces to further my need for a therapist was being trapped in a dog cage in a witch's house. It would start out with me in the woods looking at a rundown cabin or a trailer, and the door opens to reveal an old lady who doesn't particularly look like a witch, but I still knew that she was one in my dream, because that's how dreams work. The next thing that happens is I'm in a Marmaduke-sized dog cage, and I can't touch the sides, the top, or the grate, otherwise it will zap me and start sucking out my life force. And even in those rare occasions where I manage to break out of the dog cage, I still can't touch anything but the floor or the same thing will happen. Creepy. Being trapped in a box is supposed to represent a decision that you don't want to make or that you can't make, but given our nation's increasingly awful political candidates, I'm incredibly amazed that this dream does not crop up more often. Next, number 6, failing a test. I've never actually had a dream where I was taking a test or failing a test, for that matter. Instead, I regularly dream of being back at school. But because of my father being in the military for more than half my life and the ensuing consequence of moving around a lot as a child, I have attended at least 12 different schools. Preschool, kindergarten, elementary, middle school, during the first year of which we moved to a different state with different district rules, which means I was back in elementary before going back to middle school, and then high school, and during the first year there we moved to a different state which had different district rules, so I was back in middle school and then finally high school again. This is not including the times we moved to different schools just in the middle of a given school year. In fact, high school was the only section of years where I attended a single school from beginning to end. So in my dream, the school I'm attending is an amalgamation of every school I have ever attended, and some colleges that I visited because of a friend. Woo! Really? It's 4 stories tall, and the hallways are confusing as fuck. I always start the dream on the first day of the school year, and I always have to go to the office to get my schedule and my locker number and combination because no one mailed it to me or it wasn't waiting for me at the orientation desk. And for some reason, second period is always a communications class, and I only ever attend it on the first day of school. All other days I just skip it. The library is this large, round, open space, and it goes upwards through the school for the entire 4 stories. It is, in fact, the most detailed part of the entire dream. Draw from that whatever information you will. I'm gonna skip number 5 for now. Number 3, teeth falling out. Blah. I don't have this dream as often as I used to, but that's probably because I take better care of my teeth now. I mainly classify myself as a writer. So for a while during my teens, I was full to bursting with ideas for stories of all kinds, most of which didn't pan out and were extremely impractical and led nowhere, and some of which could only support a scene or 2 before falling apart, logistically. I spent most of my time trying to get it all down on paper because I didn't actually have a laptop until my 18th birthday. This between homework for classes that I had already taken 100 times and therefore had no interest in and therefore was failing, and eating and bathroom breaks and sleeping. So for a while, I forgot to do some basic maintenance, like brushing my teeth. I'd remember every once in a while, but for the most part, I didn't brush my teeth through high school. It was a dark time. Later, I met Lovely, who has the most perfect smile that I've ever seen outside of movies and television. And you would not know it to look at her, but she is one well-placed punch away from losing all of them due to a series of random accidents and bad luck. Well, she got me back on track with the whole dental thing, so mainly by introducing me to the most torturous form of mouthwash ever to be marketed by hell itself. Listerine Intense Care mouthwash feels like Satan just shot an acidy load in your mouth. It feels like someone shrunk Navy SEALs and told them that your gums were terrorists.
It burns us, precious!
But, as bad as it hurts, it's super effective! Anyway, back to number 5, which is about being sick or dying in your dream, which is supposed to represent recent or expectant emotional trauma. I suppose dreaming about your own funeral counts, and I have had plenty of those dreams that make me weep buckets and punch pillows, but that's not what I want to talk about. At the end of that particular segment, Matt throws out a joke about how if you've ever dreamed about killing people, then you should seek help. Well, once I had a dream where I started in a mental institution, presumably because I had thrown a knife at my mother during a heated argument. Over the course of the dream, I'm visited by various friends who, as time goes on, begin to develop various specific and visible wounds to which they do not react or even acknowledge. I find out over the course of the dream that the real reason I'm in the mental institution in the first place is because I have killed all my friends. You know, the ones who've been visiting me, and their families, in various and specific ways which correspond to the wounds that have been showing up on their bodies. I woke up from this dream sobbing, and I desperately wanted to call my friends to make sure that they were still alive, but I was deeply, deeply terrified that no one would answer. Yeah, that dream fucked me up for a while. But now I just kind of want to turn it into like a play or something. Yeah. As for being chased by a monster, I do have the occasional Chainsaw Massacre dream combined with the whole being stuck in a maze thing, which is terrifying to contemplate, but mostly I just dream that I wake up to find a serial killer of various origins, but mostly an evil clown, standing over me right before they plunge the knife into my chest, snuffing out my fragile existence. These aren't even the weirdest dreams that I've ever had, which anyone who knows me will attest to. The scariest, certainly, but by no means the weirdest. Unfortunately, I don't have enough time in this particular blog to go into the weirdest dreams that I've ever had, so maybe next time. In fact, I'll probably do that video right away, and maybe wait a couple days, or hell, maybe I'll just post it right after this one's finished loading. Only time will tell. I'm CJ, and I'm out.